Hi, I'm getting ready to make garlic noodles with shrimp and sausage, and these are the ingredients you will need: some olive oil, some minced garlic, some pasta, some shrimp, some sausage, and the sausage is of your choice, and a couple tablespoons of butter. And for the shrimp, this shrimp is frozen, and you just follow back the package directions showing how to defrost, which is just putting in some cold water, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my water on the stove boiling so I can start my pasta. And I'm going to season it heavily because pasta always needs to be seasoned heavily. And I'm going to cook that to package directions as well. Next, I'm going to start cutting up my sausage. Again, you can use whatever sausage you want: chicken, pork, beef, or no sausage if you don't want sausage. But this is what I had on hand, and this is what I'm using. So I'm just going to slice this up into slices, medium slices. You'll see. That way there'll be enough in the dish for everybody. And you can cut them in any way that you want. I just did it straight down. You can do it on a diagonal. You could even take the sausages and cut them in half and make them smaller pieces if you choose to. And you don't even have to put shrimp in this dish. You could just use sausage, and that's fine as well if you do not like any type of seafood. But I chose to put some sausage in along with the shrimp. And this is an easy dish to make. I did this after work, and again, another dish that takes less than an hour to put together. And you could actually have all this prepped ahead of time if you wanted. I could have had this cut and just put this. I froze mine because I bought this ahead of time, but you can actually cut this up, put it into a freezer bag, and freeze it to the time you're going to use it, and then your sausage is ready. And just stick in the refrigerator the night before and let it defrost naturally. And that would save time on when you come home from work. You don't have to do this prep work. But it is fairly easy to do, so I didn't mind it this time. And this dish did come out really good, as you'll see in the end. And this does feed about 6 people, so, and we actually had a couple plates left for lunches for me and my husband the next day, so it worked out very well. Some of the pieces are too big, so I'm cutting them in half because you don't want a big, gigantic piece. Then I'm going to get ready to do the next step, which is to cook this in the pan. So I have a large pan because we're going to put everything in one dish. So I'm going to put this on medium, I would just say medium, not medium high, because you don't want to burn it. About a tablespoon of olive oil. And I will have the full recipe linked in the description box below. So about a tablespoon of olive oil, and I'm also going to add in butter. And about a tablespoon of butter as well. And just let this let the oil and butter get heated before you add in your sausage. And the flavor of the olive oil and the butter, it's very rich, and it does. The butter brings it to another level when you're adding it to olive oil. So I do recommend whenever you're cooking a dish, maybe add in just a little bit of butter, and you'll see that there's a nice flavor to it. So I'm just trying to get my butter to melt and get it incorporated with the olive oil. And just make sure you don't burn the butter or the oil. So that's why I said medium heat would probably be best. Depending on your stove too. My stove can work very high. Just trying to move the butter around so that way it can melt a little bit faster before I put the sausage in and the shrimp. So the first thing I'm going to do is the shrimp. And this is going to take maybe 5 minutes because the shrimp, I think the shrimp was cooked. All I'm doing is heating it through. You do not want to overcook your shrimp because then it gets rubbery. So no more than 5 minutes, like 2 minutes on each side. And you can tell when your shrimp is done, it'll get a little bit more pinker than what it is. So I'm adding in garlic at this point to flavor the shrimp as well. This dish has a lot of garlic, so if you're not a garlic lover, you could omit some of the garlic or maybe use the garlic powder instead of minced garlic. But shrimp and garlic, it goes hand in hand. So give it a good stir and let it cook for a few minutes until they're done, and then you're going to remove them from the pan once done and set them aside. So here's the shrimp and they are done. So I'm using a slotted spoon to take them out because I don't want to bring the juices with it because I'm going to next put in the sausage. So just take it out and you see that they're cooked, and do not overcook your shrimp. They will be rubbery. So just keep an eye on them. Do not walk away when you're cooking shrimp. Or any seafood, I think, at that. Like I said, this dish is fairly quick to make. So, and it's very flavorful. So next I will be adding in the sausage. And if you don't have enough oil or butter at the bottom pan, just add a little bit more. But I had enough still, so I'm just able to add in the sausage. And I'm just going to cook it because it's ready. It's a smoked sausage, so it's already cooked. I'm just going to give it some color to it, so brown it up a little bit. And that's another 5 to 8 minutes for that. The dish does go very quickly, so I don't advise walking away and starting something else. I make that mistake all the time, walking away. Dishes like this, you just stay and watch it. But the smell from the garlic and the olive oil and the butter with the sausage was just so heavenly. The kitchen was smelling wonderful. And you're going to cook this until you have some brownness like this, and then you can start taking it out and putting it on a plate like I did the shrimp, using a slotted spoon so you don't bring in all the oils. And all that brown stuff at the bottom, that is flavor, which we will be using, and you'll see that shortly, that we used all that flavor. It takes a little while to get it out. Okay, now that all the meat is out, I'm going to add in the pasta. I'm going to add in a little bit more butter due to the fact we don't want it to be dry at the bottom for the pasta, but this also will give the pasta a little extra more flavor. So at this point, I'm going to re-add the oil, re-add the butter, and I believe I'm adding in more garlic as well. Yes. So garlic will be added at this point as well. You see I'm trying to scrape up all the brown bits at the bottom. There's the garlic. And one thing with garlic, when you're adding, I added 2 teaspoons at this point. It was a total of like, I think for the whole dish, almost 2 tablespoons. And at this point, you don't want to let your garlic burn, so you have to be very mindful and watch your pan, because garlic burns fairly easily and it'll give you a bitter taste. So let the garlic maybe cook for about less than a minute, and then you can add in your pasta, which is what I'm doing here. And the pasta had a little bit of liquid still on it from the pasta water. So once I get all the pasta added in, all the brown goodness actually coats the spaghetti, and you'll see that. And if for some reason you don't have enough liquid, you could always use a couple of tablespoons from the pasta water and put it into your pan and then scrape up the bottom. But you'll see that from the liquid from the pasta, it started to pick up all the brown goodness from the bottom and it coated the pasta very nicely and gave it another level of flavor. It's a very easy dish to make, and it feeds about 6 people. So, and it's inexpensive. All the ingredients that I got for this recipe was all from Aldi. So if you're on a budget like me, I shop at Aldi a lot. This was this was great because all the ingredients did come from Aldi. So at this point, I'm just going to start adding in all of um, my shrimp and my meat, my sausage. I did take the tails off of the shrimp just to make eating the shrimp easier. But you can leave them on if that is your choice. You see how the pasta changed colors? It absorbed all that brown goodness from the bottom of the pan. And you could just smell the garlic. So wonderful. There goes the sausage in now. And just make sure you give this another good toss. And at this point, you probably should be cooking for maybe another 5 minutes, and then your dish will be done. So make sure you incorporate everything and give it a good mix. Doesn't that look good? It smelled wonderful. My kitchen smelled like garlic, and we love garlic in our house. That should be pretty much it. I let it cook for a few more minutes, and then I just turned off the heat. And it was ready to serve, which you shall see. That's me tasting the pasta and make sure, did I need more salt or any more other seasonings, but I didn't. And now it is completely done. The heat is off. Doesn't that look wonderful? It was yummy. My family just loved it. Oh, I'm putting salt. I think at this point my husband said he wanted extra salt, or not extra salt, but he was telling me that thought it needed more salt. So I'm now sprinkling in salt. I thought it was fine though. But I taste a lot of food. Sometimes maybe my taste buds was off, but it was all gone. So there was no leftovers on this one. And here is the final product. And like I said, there was no leftovers. I thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, and I will talk to you in the next one.